Ahoy there, friends! Ready to dive into one of the most epic tales in literature? We're about to unravel Herman Melville's Moby-Dick, a classic that's as mysterious and exciting as the sea itself. First published in 1851, Moby-Dick was not an instant hit. In fact, its reception was, well, a bit mixed. But here's the thing. Over time, it became a cornerstone of American literature. What makes Moby-Dick so significant? It's the story of one man's obsessive quest to conquer nature itself, a battle that's as thrilling as it is philosophical. At the heart of the novel is Captain Ahab, a man driven by his desire to hunt down the elusive white whale. It's a story that questions fate, obsession, and humanity's place in the world. And so, while Moby-Dick didn't get the love it deserved right away, it's now regarded as one of the most important works in the Western literary canon. It shows us the power of perseverance and the danger of obsession. Now that we've set the stage, let's dive deeper into the plot, the characters, and all the fascinating symbols that make this story unforgettable. Alright, now that we've seen how Moby-Dick struggled to gain recognition, let's take a closer look at the heart of the story, the plot. We'll follow Ishmael as he joins the whaling ship, the Pequod, and sets off on a journey that's anything but ordinary. Ishmael, eager for adventure, signs up for a whaling expedition aboard the Pequod. Little does he know, this journey will be unlike any other. On board the Pequod, Captain Ahab introduces himself. But what makes Ahab so unique? He's not just another ship captain. He's consumed by a deep obsession with Moby-Dick, the white whale that maimed him during a previous voyage. As the Pequod sails across the vast oceans, Ahab's hunt for Moby-Dick takes center stage. His obsession with the whale becomes all-consuming, overshadowing everything else. Ahab's pursuit of Moby-Dick isn't just a physical journey. It's a psychological one too. His obsession begins to take a toll on the crew as they sail further into dangerous waters. The climax of the story arrives when the Pequod finally confronts Moby-Dick. A battle of epic proportions between man and nature unfolds. Tragically, Ahab's obsessive pursuit of Moby-Dick leads to the downfall of the Pequod and its crew. The final confrontation ends in disaster, leaving Ishmael as the lone survivor. And with that, we conclude the plot of Moby-Dick. It's a tale of obsession, tragedy, and the unrelenting pursuit of an impossible goal. This journey takes us deep into the complexities of the human spirit, setting the stage for the philosophical themes we'll explore next. Now that we've covered the tragic journey of the Pequod, it's time to dive into the heart of Moby-Dick. Its characters. These individuals are more than just sailors. They're complex symbols of various human traits and philosophies. Let's explore the main characters that make this tale unforgettable. First up, we have Ishmael, the reflective and philosophical narrator. He's not your typical hero. He's a thinker, a wanderer, constantly searching for meaning in life. His journey aboard the Pequod isn't just physical, it's a spiritual voyage too. Ishmael's complex personality contrasts sharply with Captain Ahab, the driven and obsessive leader of the Pequod. Ahab isn't just a captain, he's consumed by revenge, fixated on finding Moby-Dick at all costs. Then there's Queequeg, the loyal harpooner. A friend to Ishmael, Queequeg comes from a distant land and culture, but his bond with his fellow crew members transcends all boundaries. He's a man of action, fierce in battle but also deeply spiritual. Starbuck, the first mate, represents reason and caution. He often finds himself at odds with Ahab's obsessive pursuit of Moby-Dick, embodying the voice of reason. While Ahab is driven by emotion and revenge, Starbuck is a man of principle and faith. Of course, there are many other crew members on the Pequod, each with their own roles and personalities, adding to the rich tapestry of the story. They might not all get the spotlight, but each one plays a crucial part in the unfolding drama. In this chapter, we've met some of the most important figures in Moby-Dick, whose unique personalities and philosophies drive the narrative forward. These characters are more than just sailors. They represent different aspects of the human experience, and their interactions will set the stage for the grand philosophical themes we'll dive into next. Now that we've met the main characters, it's time to explore some of the deeper layers of Moby-Dick. In this segment, we'll dive into the powerful symbolism that makes Melville's masterpiece so rich and complex. The whale, the sea, and the ship, they're all more than just elements of the story. They represent bigger ideas. Let's take a look at how these symbols shape the narrative. The whale, of course, is the central symbol. It's not just any whale, it's Moby-Dick, a force of nature that represents the unpredictable and uncontrollable power of the natural world. The white whale is a mystery, an enigma, and for Ahab it becomes a symbol of everything he cannot control. The sea itself is a metaphor for the unknown. It's vast, it's mysterious, and it holds secrets that humans can never fully understand. Ahab's obsession with the whale mirrors humanity's struggle against the forces of nature, forces that are both awe-inspiring and terrifying. And then there's the Pequod, the ship that Ahab commands. While it's a ship on the surface, it's also a microcosm of society. It represents humanity in all its diversity, different people, different beliefs, all together on this perilous journey, each playing a part in the unfolding drama. Finally, Ahab's monomaniacal pursuit of the whale is the embodiment of obsession. His single-minded focus on capturing Moby-Dick consumes him, and this obsession symbolizes the destructive power of obsession in general, how it can blind individuals to everything else, even their own humanity. So, the whale, the sea, and the ship all serve as powerful symbols in Moby-Dick, adding layers of meaning to the story. They represent nature's power, the unknown, and the human condition. And as Ahab's obsession grows, these symbols become even more important in understanding the deeper philosophical themes at play. Now, let's dive into one of the most fascinating and thought-provoking aspects of Moby-Dick, its philosophical and existential themes. We're going to explore the big questions: fate, free will, the meaning of life, and the struggle with the unknown. These themes give the novel its depth, showing us the complexities of human existence in a vast, indifferent universe. Ahab's obsession with Moby-Dick is not just about revenge, it's about humanity's eternal struggle with fate and the unknown. His pursuit of the whale is a metaphor for our desire to control forces greater than ourselves. But no matter how hard we try, fate seems beyond our grasp. Throughout the novel, Ahab's obsession grows. It reflects our own struggle against the unknown, whether it's the mysteries of life, the inevitability of death, or our place in the universe. Ahab's fight with Moby-Dick becomes a symbol of humanity's struggle to find meaning in a world that sometimes seems indifferent to our existence. In the end, Ahab's obsession is a tragic reminder of humanity's vulnerability. It shows us that, no matter how much we strive, we may never fully understand the mysteries of the universe, but it's this very search for meaning, this existential questioning, that gives life its depth and significance. So, Ahab's obsession and the novel's existential questions remind us that life is full of uncertainties. It's a struggle to find meaning, and sometimes it's this struggle itself that defines us. The vastness of the sea and the cosmos is a reflection of the vastness of our own questions about existence, fate, and free will. And that wraps up our exploration of the philosophical and existential themes in Moby-Dick. These themes elevate the novel from a simple sea adventure to a profound meditation on life itself, resonating with readers long after they've turned the last page. Now that we've explored the deep philosophical questions of Moby-Dick, it's time to dive into the artistic craft behind it. In this chapter, we'll explore Melville's unique literary techniques, which make the novel not just a story, but an experience. One of Melville's most distinctive traits is his use of detailed descriptions and fascinating digressions. Whether it's a deep dive into the anatomy of a whale or a tangent about the history of whaling, these moments add richness to the narrative. The novel switches between first-person and omniscient perspectives, giving the reader both an intimate view of Ishmael's thoughts and a broader, almost godlike knowledge of the world around him. Melville also injects metaphysical and scientific references throughout the novel. He blends the physical world with philosophical musings, inviting readers to question the universe beyond the visible horizon. And then, of course, there are the whaling facts. Melville weaves information about the whaling industry seamlessly into the story, transforming a sea adventure into an educational experience. These techniques, the digressions, the shifting perspectives, the scientific references, make Moby-Dick a complex, layered text. They invite the reader to think deeply, not just about the plot, but about how the story is being told. By blending all these elements, Melville ensures that Moby-Dick is more than just a tale of a whale hunt. It's a narrative adventure that pulls readers into a deeper reflection about life itself. And that wraps up our look at Melville's literary techniques. His mastery of narrative style and the integration of various themes elevates Moby-Dick into a work that transcends its plot and becomes a timeless piece of art. Now that we've explored Melville's literary techniques, it's time to dive into how Moby-Dick was received when it was first released. Spoiler, it wasn't exactly a hit at the time. Let's look at why that was, and the historical context surrounding the novel's release. When Moby-Dick hit the shelves in 1851, the critics weren't exactly impressed. They found Melville's complex themes and elaborate narrative a bit much to handle. The book was considered too philosophical and dense for the average reader. What made things even worse was the novel's deep exploration of existential themes and its critique of American society and whaling. Back then, whaling was an industry that dominated American economy and culture, making the novel's message even harder to digest for its contemporary audience. Moreover, many readers of the time were not prepared for Melville's highly symbolic approach. The novel wasn't just about a man chasing a whale. It was a philosophical journey that questioned the very nature of existence. Understandably, this left many scratching their heads. But, despite the lukewarm reception, Moby-Dick was a product of its time. The whaling industry was central to American life in the 19th century, and Melville's novel reflected that cultural moment. The book didn't exactly fit neatly into the expectations of mainstream readers, but it tapped into something much deeper. As we wrap up, it's crucial to remember that the failure of Moby-Dick to resonate with its audience upon release wasn't a reflection of its quality. In fact, it's one of the reasons we're still talking about it today. Its complexity and bold themes set it apart from the books of its time. So, while Moby-Dick may have been misunderstood in its day, it eventually found its place in the literary canon. And now, let's move on to how this book, misunderstood as it was, became one of the most influential works in literature. Now that we've explored Moby-Dick's rocky start, let's dive into why this tale of obsession in the sea is more than just a book. It's a foundational work in American literature and a cultural touchstone. We'll see how its influence spread far beyond the pages of the novel. When Moby-Dick was finally appreciated, it wasn't just celebrated as a novel, it was recognized as a key work in shaping American literature. Think of it as the literary spark that lit up the imagination of countless modern writers. Its influence didn't just stop with American writers. Moby-Dick made waves globally, enriching literary traditions around the world with its deep exploration of themes like fate, free will, and the quest for meaning. Fast forward to today, and Moby-Dick is still making waves, not just in literature, but in the world of visual media too. From film adaptations to iconic artwork, the white whale has appeared in many forms, and each interpretation brings a new layer to this timeless tale. Art, too, has embraced Moby-Dick! From 19th century woodcuts to contemporary art pieces. Its haunting imagery continues to inspire artists, especially the powerful symbolic whale that has become an emblem of struggle and obsession. So, whether in books, films, or art, Moby-Dick has made a lasting impact. Its rich themes and unforgettable imagery continue to inspire and challenge creators, proving that Melville's tale is far more than just a story. It's a part of our cultural DNA. And with that, we've explored Moby-Dick, impact on literature and culture. From its pivotal place in American literary history to its enduring influence on modern media, the book remains as relevant as ever. Now, let's wrap up by reflecting on its importance in the literary world today. As we move into a new chapter of our journey, let's dive into how Moby-Dick is viewed today. We'll explore how this seemingly classic tale has taken on new meanings through the lens of postmodernism, existentialism, and modern interpretations. Ready for a modern take on an old classic? Let's go! First up, Moby-Dick. As a work of postmodernism, postmodern thinkers love to challenge traditional narratives, and this story, originally a straightforward adventure, has been interpreted as a reflection of a fragmented, chaotic world. In a way, the novel's non-linear storytelling and deep questioning of truth reflect postmodern ideas. Then there's the existential side of Moby-Dick. Ahab's obsessive pursuit of the whale echoes the existentialist's search for meaning in a world that doesn't seem to offer any. Today, critics often view Ahab as the ultimate tragic figure, a man consumed by his own meaning-making quest. Fast forward to how critics see Ahab's obsession today. In modern terms, Ahab's single-minded focus on the whale can symbolize unhealthy obsession, a critique of blind ambition, or even the dangers of delusion in the modern world. It's an obsession that mirrors today's more complex, sometimes self-destructive pursuits. Finally, let's talk about the white whale. Over time, it's been seen not just as a whale, but as a symbol of many things: an unreachable goal, nature's power, or even the unknown. Its meaning shifts depending on the cultural and philosophical lens, making it one of literature's most intriguing symbols. And with that, we've explored some of the modern interpretations of Moby-Dick. The way it speaks to us today highlights how timeless Melville's themes really are. Whether as a postmodern critique or an existential warning, the novel continues to resonate deeply. Let's now move on and see how this masterpiece is still shaping our cultural and literary world. As we close the book on this epic journey, let's take a moment to reflect on Moby-Dick, is enduring relevance. We're entering the final chapter of this tale, and it's clear that Melville's masterpiece still speaks to us in ways that are as fresh and meaningful as when it was first published. Even though it was written in the 1800s, Moby-Dick continues to be a cornerstone of contemporary literary study. It's a novel that's as relevant today as it was when it first rocked the literary world. Modern audiences engage with this towering work in ways that reflect the times we live in. Whether through postmodern critiques or existential musings, readers continue to find new meaning in the pages of Moby-Dick. Its themes about human nature, the unknown, and our existential search for meaning have not only stood the test of time, but have been woven deeply into the fabric of modern culture. And so, Moby-Dick remains a timeless exploration of our own fears, desires, and existential struggles. It's a novel that invites us to reflect, to question, and to dive deeper into the mysteries of life. Before we wrap up, don't forget to like and subscribe. By doing so, you help us continue bringing you fascinating content just like this. More literary adventures await, so don't miss out on future videos. We'd love to hear your thoughts. What's your take on Moby-Dick? Do you see it as a tale of obsession or a deep dive into the human soul? Drop your comments below and let's start a conversation.